This is Ethan Nicholas, and I'll be showing off my level Space Escape in Open Sonic. This would be towards the end of a level, or towards the end of a Sonic game when Eggman's spaceship is falling apart or something to that effect, and Sonic is rushing through to get out. Ideally, there'd be a timer or some kind of consequence for completing the level slowly. So here, there's a bit of space just to boost up speed. These platforms ahead. Oops. Shouldn't have taken my time there. It's meant to be done at a fast pace. So enemies will start to come towards you if you move slowly, which is why it's best to move quickly here. These platforms in front of me, as I move over them, will actually fall out from under my feet. So it's best to take this with speed. I'm going to kill myself again just to go through quickly. So as intended, the player would be running as fast as possible through here. And as the platforms are falling out from under their feet, they get a sense of urgency that the whole place is falling apart. They take this spring, and the spring would boost them into these walls here. Trying to jump over it would yield to no avail. So there's only one option left here, and that would be to spin dash into it. So spin dashing through here sets them up into a sequence of events of my design, clearly. So they'd break through the breakable wall and run into this flame shield. This flame shield prevents them from taking one hit of damage when they would hit into something. And this gives the players some space to experiment and sets them up for a few later parts of the level that I want them to know, like, okay, I can take damage from this thing here. So they go through the flame shield, they go through the second set of walls, and they go into a checkpoint. They've learned a series of lessons so far. They're going to be collapsing parts of the level. There are spikes that keep you from going forward. There are enemies if you go too slow that can get you. And they've learned breaking through walls and about power-ups at this point. Now here's a bit of a trick. So there's a yellow spring that will keep pushing you forward. Here, a more explorative player that might want to just like check out what's in the level would whiz by and see this red spring. Springs are meant to direct you in the Sonic games, in addition to the power rings. So here you'll see a spring, and there's a series of rings up here that, if you jump on the spring, can put you up to the top. See an enemy which you'd want to avoid, so you'd wind up landing on top of the shuttle loop here. You can kill this enemy, and you can get this shield here. I provided the player with 2 chances to get shields in case they by some chance missed the first one or they lost the shield. Between the checkpoint and this point. There's a spring here to spring you up to this upper part of the level here, where you can fight a shark enemy that will become pertinent later and take the spring up to that second level. Alternatively, if you do not take that route and you're just moving through for speed, you would like go through here, take the spring, and go through the shuttle loop. You'd most likely be spin dashing still. This would put you through a series of the brick walls that are breakable. Also put you into encounter with a couple of enemies. If you're not spin dashing at this point, you'll learn that you should probably spin dash to kill the enemies or jump on them, because you'll take a hit on your shield and lose your shield. But most likely they'll be spin dashing at this point, or ideally that's what will happen, and the player will learn they can spin dash through enemies in addition to the brick walls. There's a series of springs here, because in addition to it just being a simple way to get them up to the next part of the platform, it goes with the speed-based and like climbing feel that I want getting deeper into this level. You're trying to climb through the space station as it's falling apart and get to the exit. This will put you right into another checkpoint. If you lost your speed because you stopped for whatever reason, there is a spring here to put you through that level, through that part of the level. There's a couple shuttle loops here to help build up speed as well. And this would be like parts of the ship that are like falling apart here. As you see, there's some falling blocks here. I probably have something like exploding in the background of the shuttle loop. So it'd be like you're the cool guy running through the explosions trying to get to the end of the level. And the shuttle loop is just like a cool way to add a little more speed-based gameplay, and also it's just a flavor thing. Shuttle loops are essential for Sonic games, and putting like a couple next to each other, and then having some kind of gimmicks such as the falling platforms in between is a good way to set that up. there is a checkpoint coming up soon, and there is one in the past in case the player somehow accidentally falls through these falling platforms here. They continue to run. There's an enemy there just to throw off the player if they're trying to screw around. I want them to move through the level quickly as possible while also being safe. So if they're just standing around and doing nothing, that enemy's going to get them. You go through the shuttle loops here. There is a series of ramps coming up. But here I have another checkpoint just because in case they were falling through the falling platforms earlier, somehow died to that enemy, they'll have a checkpoint here. I used another red spring to just boost up speed, and here's the whole reason coming up I gave the shields out. There is a shark enemy coming up. Now if you run into this enemy, you lose your shields. Oh no. However, give that shield for the reason that hopefully the player would be able to test out and learn for themselves when they need to spin dash, when they need to jump attack. So here, you just spin dash, and you take care of the last couple of shark enemies just fine. So rolling up, you can see that there's an upper part of this level, and that's intentional. You'll be coming back here later by way of exaggerated travel. Here, it would ideally in the level, it would look like there was something about to block your path. There's a series of springs here, just as a little trap and a trick for the player, and they can build up some speed, and this launches them out and over. So here's what I'm talking about. There would ideally be an area here where it looks like your path forward is blocked off, or like there's like a path forward but it crumbles in front of you, and so you wind up going deeper down in the spaceship and taking a different route to get to the end. Just now that you've gotten through that shark area and a couple of shuttle loops here, I put in another checkpoint, and I want there to be a ramping sense of urgency here, and the best way to do that is to use the blue springs, which give you a very large speed boost. So I boosted the player very quickly up these two ramps, and they're climbing back to the area where they had to bypass earlier because it would be quote-unquote blocked off. Here they go through a couple of loops and wind up in this area. They need to take a spring up because the down there there isn't. This would be like a crumbled platform that isn't there anymore, that you could see something happened to the ship. After you've gone through all of that hubbub down there, there's a final checkpoint up here. I want the players to boost up this ramp where they spin dash because it is a very steep ramp, and as you might be able to see, it's not very easy to climb unless you have some kind of speed boost. So they would use a spin shot here, a spin dash rather. They'd spin dash into these spikes. Now this is to set up the next part of the level. Replenishing their rings with this power ring power up here. If they're careful, they notice there is a set of spikes there. There's a spring trap here that will spring them back into the revolving spikes, and if they're not careful, they won't notice there's another set of spikes here that they can jump onto. So you have to time your jumps to not get hit by the spikes there. Now at the end of the level, I just want to ramp up speed as quickly as possible. So here I add in a series of springs and just long straight runs, in addition to a couple of shuttle loops, and that is the end of the level. I'll play it one more time at the speed I intend it to be played at by the player, and then that will be the end of my video. And that is Space Escape Act 1. Thank you for watching.